Well, welcome everybody. I think I'll get us started because we've only got 3 hours to fit all this in. So, I kid. And I think I got everyone. I'm going to start with David, then Mary Jane, then Terry, then Tom, then the Hortons, then Birdman, then me, unless someone else shows up. So we'll start with David, and I will mute everybody. Here we go. Okay, David, it's all yours.
All right. Well, here's a nice little relaxing tune to start us off. It's called Miss Hamilton.
Very nice.
Lovely.
Nice mellow start to the day.
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Hello,
Ken.
Ken.
All right. Moving right along. It's Mary Jane. I'm going to mute everybody. And here we go. Okay, Mary Jane.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do an original song today. It's called Our Planet, and it's about nature. So my spring collection was not very large, and some of them I'd already done before, but I don't think I've done this one before. At least it's about nature. It's not really about spring, but it seems like a good song to do in the spring. So. We care for our planet because it's our home. It's all the same planet wherever you roam. There's only one planet, the place we reside. We can't get another when the place where you reside. We can get another when this one has died.
Yay! Good one.
Oh, lovely. I can't believe how mellow we started out today. I'm sure that won't last for too long, but that was very nice. Very nice indeed. All right,
Thank you.
moving on to Tom. I will mute everybody, and here we go. Okay, Tom. You need to unmute.
Done it.
Right.
Happy vernal equinox and happy spring. William Ricketts bought some land in the Dandenong Ranges, started to link to indigenous cultures, created new and original sculptures, stood them in the middle of his growing rainforest. And people came, though he was not too popular. He tried, like the Jindi Warabak poets, to align both cultures, to link the Gubba with the Koori and the Murray by way of original sculptures. He handed it over to the state government when the art was being damaged by vandals and water damage. Now his sculptures still stand in the Dandenong rainforest, but not much is left of indigenous cultures. And William Ricketts lived there until he was 93, so his spirit resides somewhat green and nervously, as this little patch of rainforest stands among the real estate of new cleared lands. And William is remembered as much for his sculpture as for his frail desire to heal two cultures. But your life can be a garden that you plant with your hands, seed in soil, trees planted with sculptures surrounding Anne, ferns wave to passing birds who visit, you make a pool to meditate, a bench to sit and watch the birds, a path to wind around, a spot where animals can hide within, small at first, like hope and trust and silence, then larger, like dreams of unknown futures. Within this green, you wrap yourself in afternoon dreams, create more space for seeds to grow and flow with the forms presenting themselves like welcome strangers growing within and around. You find the garden is in your mind. You become the garden that you find, green and wild with that primal power that comes when original creation is at play. You plant your gardens, then you walk away. Thanks. Happy spring.
Yay, Tom.
Yay us. Yay all of us.
You sprung that one on us, Tom. That was
Very good. Very good. Garden of thought.
I'd forgotten. Someone jumped over Terry, so Terry's coming up next. So, but that was very nice.
Grateful.
Let's mute everybody. Here we go. Okay, Terry, all yours.
Okay, well, this is another Millbilly song, and that is one of the songs from the 20s and earlier from the Southern Textile Mills. And it was collected by Will Geer, who was an actor and union activist who was hung out with the likes of Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and the Almanac Singers and, I don't know, probably Charlie Polachek. Anyway, he taught it to Pete Seeger, and Pete Seeger taught it to us, and it's a very plaintive little song from the Mills. And I thought I'd try to do for the banjo arrangement, do it in the style of Charlie Poole, who was the great Millbilly artist of the 20s. So here it is. I lived in a town way down south by the name of Buffalo. Worked in the mill with the rest of the trash, as we're often called, you know. You factory folks who sing this rhyme will surely understand the reason why I love you so is I'm a factory hand. While standing here between my looms, No, I lose no time. Keep the shuttles all in a whiz and write this little rhyme. We rise up early in the morn, work up and work all day real hard to buy our little meat and bread and sugar, tea and lard. Work from weekend to weekend, and we never lose a day. And when that awful payday comes, we get our little pay. Then we go home on payday night and sit down in a chair. The merchant raps upon the door. He's come to get his share. When our little debts are paid, nothing left behind, we turn our pockets wrong side out, but not a penny can we find. We rise up early in the morn, we toil from soon to late. We have no time to primp or fix our dress right up to date. Our children go unlearned, no time to go to school. Almost before they've learned to walk, they've learned to spin and spool. The boss man jerks them round and round and whistles very keen. I'll tell you what, those factory kids are really treated mean. The folks in town who dress so fine, and they spend their money free, will hardly look at a factory hand who dresses like you and me. We go walking down the street, all wrapped in lint and strings. They call us fools and factory trash and other low-down things. Well, let them wear their watches fine, their rings and pearly strings. When the day of judgment comes, we'll make 'em shed their pretty things. There you go.
Yay!
One of the few songs that I know that does talk about child labor.
That's very good. Very good.
And the next time somebody growls about government regulation, you should sing them that song. And the next one, I'll tell you about the next one too. It's another complaint.
All right. Very good. Yeah, I've never heard that before. It's a really, really good song. All right, moving along. We are going to the Hortons, and I will mute everybody. Here we go. Mute all. Okay, over to you.
Okay, well, we'll keep the theme with the work people. We played some Celtic music on St. Patrick's Day at a facility. So we have our Celtic book out, and we ran into a couple of songs we hadn't played in a while. And so we thought, man, we like these songs. We haven't played them in a while, so we're going to play them for you guys. The first one's called All the Jolly Fellows. And it's a dance tune when the sun goes down, the men get off work, and it's time to go put their horses back in the barn and all that jazz, and then they get out the ale and they celebrate and dance around, and it's All the Jolly Fellows. So it's a happy little tune. This is the one Jeff picked, and then for my first round, when we finished that, I picked one called The Foggy Dew. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Foggy Dew. I don't really know much about it. I just like the melody, and we found it in our book, so we thought we'd play that one. So we're going to do a dance for his tune, and then a foggy song for my tune.
All right.
Okay.
Yay.
Number two.
Number two, the foggy song. Okay.
Foggy. Yeah, we're going to be foggy now.
Yes. Marvelous old Irish Revolutionary song. Yeah.
What a fine lament that was.
Yeah,
Easter Uprising.
Yeah.
and it goes back even further. I believe
Even further than what?
the Easter Uprising. I think that goes back to the 1790 rebellion. But there we go.
Ah.
Where does it, how far back does the tune itself go? You know?
No. But anyway, it's a good revolution. It's a good revolutionary song.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Moving along now. It is Birdman. I mute everybody. And here we go.
Okay.
Okay, you need to unmute yourself again. Sorry.
Okay.
Go.
There you go. All right. It's funny Sandy mentioned the fog because I have a poem. Actually, I worked on a video and this poem this week, and it's titled Fog Over the Ocean. Looking for my reflection while gazing out into the fog that covers the ocean. Standing on the shoreline as the waves splash up against the rocks. I sail with my mind's eye, floating out over the deepest part of the ocean. Seagulls enjoying the foggy mist as they flutter about, listening to the foghorns as they guide the ships and tankers. As I watch the mist cover over the ocean and cover the beach. The fog is a soothing mist that comforts as well as quiets the soul. It flows over an overactive mind and carries our dreams up and away. The fog hides and disguises our reality. We can only imagine or assume that we know what is before us. When the fog clears, what we see may only be a memory or a whole new reality. Like the ocean, sometimes our lives are covered in a fog. Proceed cautiously until things can be seen clearly. Thank you.
Good one.
You played that tune over that poem there. That sounds great. All right, very good. All right, moving on to Ken Purcell. And is it Purcell or Purcell, Ken?
Either or.
Either or. Okay, Ken Purcell. And I will mute everybody, and then it's Ken's turn. So
Either or is kind of hard to say. You might as well
Eeyore.
say
There we
person.
go. All right, Ken, all yours.
Well, I feel in light of that last poem, I should play I Can See Clearly Now, but I don't know all the words, even though it's a great song. Yes, I grew up in Pennsylvania, just south of Pennsylvania coal country, but my most recent ancestors are from Pennsylvania coal regions. Up there on the other side of the mountain, it's Purcell. Down here in the civilized urban area, it's Purcell, you know? So, and over in Ireland, I've heard it both ways there too. So I don't know. But in spite of that, I am still celebrating the high holy season of St. Patrick's Day here. And so in an ordinary year, I would probably have 15 opportunities to play Irish music at various venues. But I think you're the biggest gig I have this year. So anyway, in honor of yesterday being Ostara, which is one of the festivals of the old ways, and very significant in many religions, you know, the equinox, and I think the word Easter even somehow is derived from Ostara. So here's the Ramble of Spring as I first heard it by Tommy Makem. There's a piercing winter wintry breeze blowing through the budding trees. I buttoned up me coat to keep me warm. Now I'm on the road again with a suitcase in me hand, me fiddle snug up close beneath me arm. I've a fine felt hat and a strong pair of brogues. I've rosin in me pocket for me bow. All me fiddle strings are no, and I've learned a tune or two. I'm well prepared to ramble, I must go. I'm as happy as a king when I catch a breath of spring, and grass is growing green as winter ends. Oh, the geese are on the wing as the thrushes start to sing. I'm headed down the road to meet me friends. I've a fine felt hat and a strong pair of brogues. I've rosin in me pocket for me bow. Oh, me fiddle strings are no, and I've learned a tune or two. I'm well prepared to ramble, I must go. I have friends in every town as I ramble up and down, making music at the markets and the squares. Oh, the donkeys with their creels and those farmers making deals, and yellow-hatted tinkers selling wares. I've a fine felt hat and a strong pair of brogues. I've rosin in me pocket for me bow. Oh, me fiddle strings are no, and I've learned a tune or two. I'm well prepared to ramble, I must go. Here's a health to one and all, to the big and to the small, to rich and poor alike, to foe and friend. Now when I return again, may those foes be turned to friends, and peace and joy be with you until then. I've a fine felt hat and a strong pair of brogues. I've rosin in me pocket for me bow. All me fiddle strings are no, I've learned a tune or two. I'm well prepared to ramble, I must go. I've a fine felt hat and a strong pair of brogues. I've rosin in me pocket for me bow. All me fiddle strings are no, and I've learned a tune or two. I'm well prepared to ramble, I must go. Yes, I'm well prepared to ramble, I must go. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, good one.
Mighty fine. I haven't heard that one for years. That's a great song.
It goes well with whiskey.
Ah, yes. The legs will start going. The feet will start going.
These,
Then the legs go later, but there we go. All right. Now it's all the way around to me, so I will mute everybody. Okay, this is an Australian song. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to get information from around the world, but there's right now there's a bit of an ecological disaster happening in the east side of Australia. Australia's a bit like Central Texas. You know, it's either drought and bushfires or everything's being flooded out. And right now everything's being flooded out on the eastern coastline. So I thought I'd do a song. My wife and I lived in Australia for a couple of years in the mid-70s, and their daughter was born there. And I got to travel fairly extensively, and I really loved that place. But the man that shaped the image of the people of Australia, at least the white people of Australia, more than any poet, a guy called Banjo Patterson, the poet. He's responsible for Waltzing Matilda, and I'm going to do a short version of his classic called The Man from Snowy River. It's a 12-verse poem. It's worth reading sometime, but I'm doing the 5-verse version. And Slim Dusty, another legend, provided this tune. But basically, in case you get lost in some of the foreign words here, the story, if you don't know it, is of in the area, the Great Dividing Range area, Victoria and New South Wales, back in the 1880s and 1890s, a lot of thoroughbreds were raised, a lot of racing went on, and a lot of herding and everything else went on. And the story goes that at one station, the prize colt of an expensive horse, thoroughbred escaped and joined the wild horses. And in joining the wild horses, they just took off from the mountaintops. And the fear was if they got to the top of the mountain and went down the other side, it's so steep that no one could possibly get them and this horse would be lost forever. But there was one man called Clancy of the Overflow who joined the upper class station owners and the great riders and their thoroughbreds on a pony. And it was him who saved the day and brought the horses back. And it was kind of a metaphor for Australia. It may not be the top class in terms of blood, but by golly, in terms of courage, in terms of bringing it home, punching above their weight, that's Australia. And again, that really helped shape the image of Australia, of which Tom is a great example on this very day. So here it is, the man from Snowy River. There was movement in the station, and the word had passed around, and the colt from Old Regret had got away and had joined the wild bush horses. He was worth £1,000. All the cracks had gathered to the fray. All the tried and trusted riders from the stations near and far mustered at the homestead overnight. For the bushmen love hard riding where the wild bush horses are, and the stock horse snuffs the battle with delight. There was Harrison who made his pow when Pardon won the cup, the old man with his hair as white as snow. But few could ride beside him when his blood was fairly up. He would go wherever horse and man could go. And Clancy of the Overflow came down to lend a hand. No better horseman ever held the reins, for never horse could throw him while his saddle girths would stand. He'd learned to ride while droving in the plains. When they reached the mountain summit, even Clancy took a pull. It well might make the boldest hold their breath, for the wild hot scrub grew thickly and the hidden ground was full of wombat holes, and any hole was death. But the man from Snowy River let the pony have his head. He swung his stick around and gave a cheer. Then he raced them down the mountain like a torrent in its bed. The others stood and watched in very fear. He ran them single-handed till their sides were white with foam. He followed like a bloodhound on their track, till they halted, cowed and beaten, and he turned their heads for home, and alone and unassisted brought them back. But his hardy mountain pony could scarcely raise a trot. He was blood from hip to shoulder from the spur. But his courage was undaunted and his pluck was fiery hot, for never yet was mountain horse a cur. And down by Kosciuszko, where the pine-clad ridges raise their torn and rugged battlements on high, where the air is clear as crystal and the white stars fairly blaze at midnight in the cold and frosty skies, and where around the Overflow the reed beds sweep and sway to the breezes and the rolling plains are wide. The man from Snowy River is a household word today, and the stockmen still tell the story of his ride. Yes, the man from Snowy River is a household word today, and the stockmen tell the story of his ride.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you very much. Long live Banjo Patterson. Clancy of the Overflow.
Clancy of the Overflow.
Yep.
And I see Mike has joined us, so I'm going to stick Mike in next, if that's okay. You ready to go, Mike? Oh, you need to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay, let me mute everybody, then you need to unmute yourself again. So here we go.
Sorry, let me clear my throat.
That's okay. Okay, need to unmute yourself again. So
There we go. So on the theme of horses, we'll go with Run for the Roses. Born in the valley and raised in the trees in western Kentucky on wobbly knees, with mama beside you to help you along, you'll soon be a growing up strong. All the long, lazy mornings in pastures of green, the sun on your withers, the wind in your mane, could never prepare you for what lies ahead. The run for the roses so red. And it's run for the roses as fast as you can. Your fate is delivered, your moment's at hand. It's the chance of a lifetime and a lifetime of chance. And it's high time you joined in the dance. It's high time you joined in the dance. From sire to sire, it's born in the blood, the fire of a mare and the strength of a stud. It's breeding and it's training, and it's something unknown that drives you and carries you home. And it's run for the roses as fast as you can. Your fate is delivered, your moment's at hand. It's the chance of a lifetime in a lifetime of chance. And it's high time you joined in the dance. It's high time you joined in the dance.
Very good.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I like that.
Everything good. Wonderful.
this is Mike from the Northwest,
Yes, I'm from Seattle.
from Seattle. Well, welcome, Mike. That was
Coming up
lovely.
for lunch.
That was a lovely song.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
High time.
We've been in a generally very mellow mood. We've had very few deaths and even less sickness so far.
No
today.
Oh,
murder
well,
bugs.
pretty good
No
then.
murder
I
bugs.
picked a good song then.
The afternoon is young, so.
Beware.
All right, moving right back to the top of the ticket here with David. I'm going to mute everybody. There we go.
Well, following up on Terry's song about hard times and working people, here's another song on the same theme about sharecropping. It's called Hard Times in the Country Down on Penny's Farm. Come, you ladies and you gentlemen, and listen to my song. I'll sing it to you right, but you might think it's wrong. May make you mad, but I mean no harm. All about the renters on Penny's farm. Hard times in the country. country, down on Penny's farm. You move out on Penny's farm, plant a little crop of Becky and a little crop of corn. Come around to see you gonna blip and plop, till you get yourself a mortgage on everything you got. Hard times in the country, down on Penny's farm. Now hasn't George Penny got a flattering mouth? Move you to the country in a little log house. Got no windows but the holes in the wall. Work your summer and rob you in the fall. Hard times in the country, down on Penny's farm. Now here's George Penny, he's a-coming to town. Got a wagon load of peaches, not a one of them sound. Gotta have his money or somebody's check. You pay him for a bushel and you don't get a peck. Hard times in the country, down on Penny's farm. Now George Penny's renters, they're coming to town. Hands in the pockets and the heads hung down. Go to the store, the merchant would say, your mortgage is due and I'm waiting for my pay. Hard times in the country, down on Penny's farm. It's down in the pocket with a trembling hand. Can't pay you all, but I'll pay you what I can. Then to the telephone, the merchant made a call. Put you on the chain gang, you don't pay it all. Hard times in the country, down on Penny's farm. Come, you ladies and you gentlemen, and listen to my song. I'll sing it to you right, but you might think it's wrong. Maybe make you mad, but I mean no harm. All about the renters on Penny's farm. Hard times in the country, down on Penny's farm.
Yeah, great old song
Yeah, sure is.
from the
Yeah.
from
A lot of hard time
Anthology
songs.
of American folk music.
A lot of hard time songs out there.
I wonder why.
It went on a few years, as I
A
understand.
lot of hard times out there.
Part of the Great Depression. There's nothing like it.
Ah. All righty. Moving on to Mary Jane. Let me mute everybody. Hey, all yours.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do another song roughly about nature, only it's a swallow song by Richard Farina, and it has one verse in it that I think is a kind of an anti-war verse. And I'm not exactly sure how that verse connects with the rest of the song, because the rest of the song is just about swallows. Maybe somebody else knows, but it's a pretty good song. It's got a nice tune at any rate. Come wander quietly and listen to the wind. Come near and listen to the sky. Come walking high above the rolling of the sea.
Yay, good one.
It works very nicely on the uke too.
Nice.
Don't hear many tangos.
It's a Sephardic love song.
Yeah.
The tune is
But it was a
based
tango
on
meter.
the tune is based on a Sephardic love song called La Rosa Inflorece.
It's beautiful.
Ooh.
Yeah,
But,
that was lovely.
A mesmerizing melody.
songs as well.
That was very nice. Good stuff. All right. It's now Tom's turn. I'm going to mute everybody. Okay.
The image is of Jacob's Well, and this is to celebrate World Water Day, which is tomorrow. And the thing I learned when doing poetry at Barton Springs and in Jacob's Well was that all water is one. So this is a love poem to Jacob's Well and to Barton Springs and to, of course, Uluru, where there are small pools everywhere. Once at Uluru, known by you as Ayers Rock, I was taken to a sacred watering hole. Frogs lived there, black in thousands. You could not drink from the waters were sacred. Now the day was hot, and those of us who could not drink became angry at this usurpation of our dominion, for were we not the crown of all creation? Now as I turn on my metal tap in Austin, I think again of that small watering hole, so small for so many thousands of black frogs to drink from. And I cast my mind back to becoming a black frog, to drink from, to dream in, to drink from, to dream in, to dream. And when I come to Jacob's Well, this is what I will do. For a long time I will sit by the edge of the well, watch the reflection of trees in her waters, see a solitary fish rise up and out of her, put one cautious toe into her chilled choices. Perhaps an hour will pass this way, slowly. By degrees it will be time to commit. I will slip into her shallowness and sit. Bit by bit, I will venture towards her center, perhaps splash around from edge to edge in fear. For when I look down, I see no bottom there, just the edges of a well that issues waters, and the rocks are covered green with local algae. Only at the center is she still clear. This is where I will dive in and down, but only for a moment and never long. I rise to the surface. I splash around, as if afraid the stillness might drag me down. I go still. I float like a leaf. I look at this well from the waters of this well, see green trees wrapped around sky blue, hear silent birds singing each to each. Within these waters, I can drink this whole world in as liquid and as flow. Beyond the land my feet would know until time stops and I must go back to the earth. I understand and leave these waters for another pilgrim who does not hesitate, just dives right in. Thanks for listening. Long live
Hooray! Good one.
Barton Springs.
That made a splash in my consciousness, Tom. Thank you very much.
Liquidity is everything.
Very nice.
Cool.
All righty. And now it's the Terry's turn. So let me mute everybody.
Alrighty. Well, after doing so many of these song circles, I'm getting down to some of the more obscure parts of my repertoire, and this was one that occurred to me. It's a very old ballad. It's listed in the Child Ballads, but it actually goes back to a medieval French story, and it's about a young woman who puts her lovers through these terrible tests of fidelity and love. And the real mystery of the song is, why would anyone want anything to do with some woman who was so manipulative, cruel, and capricious? But, that's the song. One verse that had me a little confused, it said she was a lady gay who was determined that no man on earth would her betray, And that never did make any sense to me. So I think it must have originally been no man on earth could her betrove unless it were a man of honor. But that didn't fit the rhyme, so I guess I kicked it out. And this was collected by Lomax, one of the Lomaxes, in, again, West Virginia, coincidentally, from a guy who Lomax said in his notes that the man suffered from jakeleg. And I wondered what jakeleg was, because it's a word that turns up, and particularly in blueses, they talk about jakeleg. And I looked it up, and it turns out that for a brief time, there was a horrible epidemic of sorts throughout the United States. There was a terrible nervous disorder that caused people to lose control of their legs entirely. But it turned out that it was caused by people who drank a patent medicine called extract of Jamaican ginger. And it turned out to be not the Jamaican ginger, but an extract, but a chemical additive to this, which just poisoned people en masse. It was during the Depression, and this was, it had a very high alcohol content. It was very popular when you couldn't get any booze. But so that's just another, by way of another example, is next time someone growls about government regulation, you can remind them of jakeleg. Anyway, so that was a long diversion. Here's the song. Down in Carlisle, there lived a lady, being both beautiful and gay. She was determined to live a lady. Man on earth could her betray. I'm gonna pick up the tempo a little bit because it's a long story and we'll never get through it otherwise. Unless it were a man of honor and high degree, and their approach to loving soldiers, this fair lady for to see, one of them being a brave lieutenant, a brave lieutenant and a man of war, other being a brave sea captain of a ship named Concord. And then up spoke this fair young lady, saying, I can be but one man's bride, but if you return tomorrow morning, on this case we will decide. He ordered her a span of horses at her command, and they rode down that hill together till they come to the lion's den. And there they stopped, and there they halted, while the two stood gazing around. And for the space of half an hour, this young lady lay speechless on the ground. Then after a while, she did recover. She throwed her fan in the lion's den, said, which of you to gain a lady will return her fan again? And then up spoke the brave lieutenant in a voice both loud and high, I know I am a true true lover of women, but I will not risk my life for love. Then up spoke the brave sea captain. He raised his voice, both loud and clear. I know I am your lover of women. I will return your fan or die. And into the lion's den he boldly entered. The lion's been so wild and fierce. He walked around and in among them safely returned her fan again. And when she saw her true lover coming, saying no harm had been done to him, she throwed her head upon his bosom, and here is the prize that you have won.
Yay, Terry, good one.
Right.
Like that song.
It's sort of a curiosity, but it's a nice song.
It is a good song.
That's some tough courting.
Oh, it's just the good old triad.
Very good. That's an obscure one. I've never heard it before. That's for the.
So that's the second one today, but
Yeah.
to do a third one, I think is one you will have heard before.
Okay, that sounds anyway. Whichever, obscure or popular, we're ecumenical here. So, all right, moving along. It is now time for the Hortons, and I will mute everybody. Here we go. Boom.
Okay, we're just going to do one this time. It's a popular Irish melody. It's called Shul Agra, and that translation means "Walk with me, my joy." It's a ballad, and it's just a really pretty song. It was brought to America before the Civil War, and every ethnic group sings it. It's just a real famous little tune. So we're going to do it on soprano, recorder, and guitar. Hold on, I gotta find it. Okay.
Sure.
Very sweet.
Beautifully played.
Quite a slur at the end of that one.
Beautifully played. Beautifully played.
What is it? Shula Room? Is that it?
Shul Agra.
Shula Gra. Okay.
It means walk with me, my joy. But
Here's
the
guy.
girl leaves him in the song if you have the words to sing.
Yeah, there's a similar minor chord kind of thing going with some versions of Johnny Has Gone for a Soldier. Is a similar
Yeah,
kind
it's very, very similar to that.
Yeah.
It's been interchanged with that.
Yeah. Cool. That was lovely.
Well, at least you didn't have to go fight lions, you know.
That's true.
All right. Time for Birdman. We're going to mute everybody. Boom. Here we go.
All right. This is a poem that I wrote during the freeze, and I just finished the poem in the video yesterday. And it's titled 3 a.m. because actually I was up at 3 a.m. in the morning shooting the video that goes with this. It's 3 a.m. in the morning as the temperature drops. Snow flurries come down softly. The wind is blowing, making visibility difficult. Nothing is moving. Everything seems quiet as the hard freeze begins. Snowflakes twinkle as they fall and land on the frozen ground. Icicles form on non-moving parts. Dark gray clouds hang over the frozen mist of snow on the ground. As if half in and half out of a dream, I stand frozen in the yard, amazed and in disbelief as this drastic change in the weather. Most previous winters have consisted of a few hours, days of 40-degree temperature. Is this the climate change that has been talked about for the last few years? Will this be the new norm? Can anything be done to stop, alter, or change the events? Thank you.
Ooh, that brings it all back.
Yeah.
That week of cold lasted 4 weeks, as I remember, in my mind.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, whew. Okay.
I don't think anyone outside of Austin or outside of Texas will understand how bizarre it really was, you know.
Well, our blood is too thin down here now. We've been here too long. So, all right, it is Ken's turn. So I'm going to mute everybody.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. So you need to unmute again. It's perils of the system.
Well, since it is kind of a solemn afternoon, I'm going to change that up and throw in a pinch hitter here that I didn't think I was going to play, and I'm not really up on it. So that's my pre-apology for when it goes off the rails. Okay. But this is a ripper, and in the pub at the chorus, this is when people raise their pints high and sing, "So here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends I love so dear. Here's to you, I'll bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny was here." And it was quite a time for me in 2019, October, when I got to play this in a pub in Donegal with my banjo player friend. I might have done this last time. Did I? No? Okay. So grab your pints, get ready to sing. And I'm going to do this in honor of my Uncle Mel, whose funeral was yesterday. This is a remembrance song. I remember the night that he came in from the wintry cold and damp. A giant of a man in an oilskin coat with a bundle that said he was a tramp. He stood at the bar and called a pint, then turned round and gazed into the fire. On a night like this, to be safe and dry is my one and only desire. So here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends that I love dear. Now here's to you, and I bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny's been here, me boys, Donegal Danny's been here. Then in a voice that was hushed and low, he says, listen, I tell you a tale. How a man of the sea became a man of the road, and never more will set sail. I fished out of Hoth and Killybegs, Flushing and Baltimore. But the cruel sea has beaten me, now I'll end my days upon the shore. So here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends that I love dear. Now here's to you, and I bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny's been here, me boys, Donegal Danny's been here. On a fateful night in the wind and rain, we set sail from Killybegs town. There were 5 of us from sweet Donegal, and 1 from County Down. We were fishermen who worked the sea, never counting the cost. But I never thought ere that night was out, that my 5 friends would all be lost. So here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends that I love dear. Now here's to you, and I bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny's been here, me boys, Donegal Danny's been here. Then the storm it broke and drove the boat on a rock about 10 miles from shore. As we fought the tide, we hoped inside to see our homes once more. Then we struck a rock and hove the bow. All of us knew that we'd go down. So we jumped right into that icy sea. Prayed to God we wouldn't drown, but the raging sea was rising still as we set out for the land. And she fought with all her cruelty to claim that gallant band. By St. John's Point in the early morn, I dragged myself on the shore, and I cursed the sea for what she'd done, and vowed to sail her nevermore. So here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends that I love dear. Now here's to you, and I bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny's been here, me boys, Donegal Danny's been here. Ever since that night I've been on the road, traveling and trying to forget. That awful night I lost all my friends, I see their faces yet. And oftentimes when the seas are high and the wind is tearing at my skin, I hear the cries of drowning men floating over on the wind. Here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends that I love dear. Now here's to you, and I bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny's been here, me boys, Donegal Danny's been here. So here's to those that are dead and gone, to friends that I love dear. Now here's to you, and I bid you adieu, saying Donegal Danny's been here, me boys, Donegal Danny's been here.
Yeah.
Donegal Danny.
Great song.
Yeah,
Terrific.
that gets the blood moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you have whiskey in you, you have to move on that one. That was very good.
Thanks.
All right. And now from the very good to the experimental. I'm going to, it's my turn, I will mute everybody. Right, I tend to steer away from modern music and rock music and pop music, but occasionally I make an exception. This is a stripped down version of what I think is a really fine attempt at a folk ballad, a historical ballad written by Don Henley. It's about the shadow side of manifest destiny and the destruction of the European peoples, of cultures and land and the environment, you know, really kind of absent-mindedly as they occupied in the Western expansion, everything from the East Coast to Hawaii. It's a song called The Last Resort. She came from Providence, the one in Rhode Island, where the old world shadows hang heavy in the air. She packed her hopes and dreams like a refugee, just as her father came across the sea. She heard about a place, people were smiling, spoke about the red man's ways, how they loved the land. They came from everywhere to the great divide, seeking a place to stand or a place to hide. Down in the crowded bars, out for a good time, can't wait to tell you all what it's like up there. They call it paradise, I don't know why. Someone laid the mountains low while the town got high. And when the chilly winds blew down across the desert, through the canyons of the coast, to the Malibu, where the pretty people played, hungry for power, to light their neon ways, gave them things to do. Some rich man came and raped the land. Nobody caught him. Put up a bunch of ugly boxes and Jesus people bought them. They call it paradise, the place to be. And they watch the hazy sun sinking in the sea. We can leave it all behind, sail to Lahaina, just like the missionaries did so many years ago. They even brought a neon sign, Jesus is coming, brought the white man's burden down, brought the white man's rain. And we provide the grand design, what is yours and what is mine, 'cause there's no more new frontier We have got to make it here. We satisfied our endless needs, justified our bloody deeds. In the name of destiny and in the name of God. And you can see them there on Sunday morning, stand up and sing about what it's like up there. They call it paradise. I don't know why. To go someplace paradise, kiss it goodbye.
Good one,
Good one.
Stuart.
I'd say that's a successful experiment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Long live the Eagles, paper.
Thank you very much. All right, and it's now Mike's turn in Seattle. So I'm going to mute everybody. And here we go. Oh, come on.
All right. So this would fit into Hard Times, Hazel Dickens song, Black Lung. Actually, very hard times. He's had more hard luck than most men could stand. The mines was his first love, but never his friend. He lived a hard life, and hard he'll die. Black lungs done got him, his time is nigh. Black lung, oh, you're just biding your time. Soon all this suffering I'll leave behind. But I can't help but wonder what God had in mind to send such a devil to claim this soul of mine. He went to the boss man, but he closed the door. Well, it seems you're not wanted when you're sick and you're poor. He ain't even covered in their medical plan, and your life depends on the favors of man. Down in the poorhouse on starvation's plan, when pride is a stranger and doom is a man, his soul full of coal dust till his body's decay. Everyone's but black lungs done turned him away. Black lung, oh, your hands I see cold, as you reach for my life and you torture my soul. Cold is the water hole down in that dark cave, where I spent my life's blood digging my own grave. Down in the graveyard, the boss man came with his little bunch of flowers. Dear God, what a shame. Take those flowers, don't you sing those sad songs. The die has been cast now, a good man has gone. He's had more hard luck than most men could stand. The mines was his first love, but never his friend. He lived a hard life, and hard he'll die. Black lungs done got him, his time is nigh. Black lung, oh, you're just biding your time. Soon all this suffering I'll leave behind. So I can't help but wonder what God had in mind to send such a devil to claim this soul of mine. That's it.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's
Well,
my
that was
kind of
good.
song.
That
Great. Oh, it's a great song.
Love it.
If you get a chance to listen, I actually first heard it on a Kathy Mattea album called Coal, where it's all kind of coal related songs. Really, really good.
Yeah. That's very good. Oh,
great.
all right. And on that happy note, David, it's your turn. So we will. I mute everybody. Here we go. All right, it's all yours.
Thank you. I'll play you another song on the concertina. And this one is a Swedish tune. It was composed by a man named Torbjörn Nussbaum, who plays an iconic and very strange Swedish bowed instrument called the nyckelharpa, which is a bowed instrument where the strings are stopped by little buttons called tangents. It's a very interesting instrument. And he plays folk music as well as classical music on it. And he composed this tune. It's called Homage to a Fiddler, Hommage till an Spellman.
Very nice. Thank you.
Very pleasant. All right. All right. Move along. It's Mary Jane, and I will mute everybody.
Okay, well, I'm going to go along with my personal theme of nature. This might be the last one. And this is a song that Stuart sang several weeks ago, so I'm hoping nobody remembers it. it's an obscure Bob Dylan song called Lay Down Your Weary Tune. And he knew more about it than I did. I think he said that Bob Dylan was trying to write something like a good Irish song, and this is what he came up with. So, with no further ado, I'll begin. Lay down your weary tune, lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself, make the strength of string, no voice can hope to hum. Struck by the sounds before the sun, I knew the night had gone, the morning breeze like a bugle blew against the drums of dawn. The ocean wide like an organ played, the seaweed wove its strand, the crashing waves like cymbals clash against the rocks and sand. I stood and wailed beneath the sky, and clouds unbound by blues, the crying rain like a trumpet sang, and asked for no
I think that must have been
I
from
like that song.
that early Greenwich Village
Yes,
period,
it was.
right?
It was.
Late
Yeah.
It
60s.
was the side B of one of his singles. Believe it or
In,
not.
Yeah.
in all fairness, Mary Jane, I stole that from Terry, who first introduced it to the group several weeks before I did it. So it's doing the
Remember
circuit.
that way, but
Yeah,
And
yeah, I don't remember Terry doing it.
I don't either. Maybe you dreamed me.
It's
I
on-
Well,
might
it was something I was planning on doing, and I was working on it, and then all of a sudden you sang it. Oh no, he's singing my song. But I just waited a few weeks, and I figured I'd do it different than you
Know
anyway.
your songs.
It's on tape, where I'll take you back. I'll find it, Terry, and I'll tell you which edition of the
Yeah.
session.
Sometimes I sing them anyway.
That's right.
It's
A good
basically,
song is always worth stealing.
Yeah. That's right.
and
We'll
it's
steal it
basically the water is wide is the basic first line, and then it's a, then he does a variation, but
Yeah.
it's lovely. All right, it must be a good song if we've done it 3 times in this group.
It's a banjo. There's a banjo in it, so it's reckoned.
Yeah. Sometimes they change the word banjo to another instrument. So.
That's
Bagpipes.
blasphemy.
Bagpipes, there you go.
Accordion.
Okay, that was very good. Now it's Tom's turn. I'm going to mute everybody.
Today is the International Day.
Oh, sorry, Tom. My mistake. Start over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today is still the International Day of Forests. So this is dedicated to every green thing that ever was. Nobody ever took me by the hand and walked me into the natural green and pointed out the herbs and healing plants and told me what they did and of their history. That's why I feel nothing at the death of trees, whose bark is always better than our bite, whose limbs look so much like our arms, whose branches support all birds, and whose nests hold all songs. If you were to see a tree upside down, lie on the good earth and stare upwards, it would appear as your cerebellum, a brain with nerve-ending branches and a leafy canopy. I don't hug trees, it embarrasses me, like I get embarrassed by the greed of sawmills and loggers who seem to think this one earth owes them a living forever. And they will hold the simple trees to ransom until their demands are met by everyone. My heroes include Butterfly, who lived for two years in a tree, showed that our ancestors did this and that it's simple and simply done and came down, and one tree was saved by her actions. Now, I do not even know the proper botanical names of trees. You see, from infancy, we have never been formally introduced, so it's probably far too late for me. Same as it often seems far too late to save most trees in Austin, even though our tree canopy is aging. The trees are used and abused carelessly, rainforest clear-cut, until the bars ground sounds drought, the bare ground, and loggers lose their lives and livelihood. Me, I'm no tree-hugging environmentalist. I wouldn't know how to actually live in a forest. Yet if someone had taken me just once to meet the mighty trees I remember from my childhood, all gone now, all chopped down now, I wouldn't be writing this lament for the loss of my own wilderness. Once upon a sunny Alice in Wonderland afternoon, picnicking with friends in ordinary public park, the idea came to talk to the trees, or rather listen to what they had to say. And I found their words hung in the air about them, accessible to anyone with patience to listen with whole body attentive. And I heard them speak of being more than the ground one grows from, of growing beautiful in the light of the sun of mortal day. And I heard them speak of loneliness, of being alone amongst friends, and the need for special ones with whom to share one's lovingness and humanity. And I thought of my speeding too fast past tree-lined avenues, ignoring their treesiness. But now, imagine my reaching out and touching each tree as I pass, glad of their being there, and me just glad to be. For the trees. Thanks.
Wonderful.
And also dedicated to the mold on my cheese in the refrigerator.
Every living organic thing, yes, live.
Frogs.
Cheese rights, frog rights, everyone's got rights.
All things green.
All things green, beautiful. Yes, well done.
Your biome as well.
Yes. I'll buy that biome.
Oh, that was great, Tom. Thank you very much.
There's no place like biome.
All right, it's Sandy. Sandy by herself or Sandy? Okay, well, the Hortons. Anywho,
What about Terry? Do we have Terry?
I am sorry, Terry.
Doesn't matter to me.
Forget Terry.
It does matter to me. I pretend like I don't need glasses, and my notes are a long way away. So okay,
I see.
It's Terry. Thank you, Sandy.
Okay.
I will mute everybody.
Whoop.
Okay, all yours.
That was David's banjo. I can.
Yeah.
There's that Sephardic sound to it. Okay. Yes, I know his banjo was handmade by the Sephardim and passed down through, generations of gypsies until it sounded like something Dave would play. So even in good times, Some folks get the blues, and this is one of my favorite old blueses. I'm sure you've heard it from me before. Trouble in mind, I'm blue, but I won't be blue always, 'cause the sun gonna shine in my back door someday. I'm alone at midnight, my lamp is burning low. Never had such trouble in my life before. Gonna lay my weary head on that lonesome railroad iron. Let the 1019 train pacify my worried mind. Or alternatively, I'm gonna lay my weary head on some lonesome railroad track. And when that train comes along, I'm gonna yank my head right back. Going down to the river, take a long old rocking chair. If the blues overtake me, they're gonna rock on away from there. And that's the blues.
Oh, what a fine banjo blues.
Thank you. Actually, my inspiration for playing the blues on the banjo is really Pete Seeger, who never shied away from playing anything on the banjo, whether it was, gypsy music or Irish music or blues or jazz. I just listened to one of the old Rainbow, what was it called? The little TV series he did. He did one with Brownie McGee and Sonny Terry.
Rainbow Quest.
He was playing, Rainbow
Quest.
Rainbow Quest. Yeah, you can find him on YouTube. And he did an episode with Brownie and Sonny, and he played banjo behind this, incredible Brownie McGee driving blues guitar. And so I can do it too, I think.
That's great. Very good. Okay, now it's Sandy. So let me mute everybody, including myself.
Okay. Yeah, we heard, Stuart, we heard you playing a little bit on that last song. Sounded good. Okay, I'm by myself now. I wrote a new song a couple of weeks ago, and I've only played it once for a poets group. It's a medieval chant and a dance. I've been listening to a lot of Hildegard de Bingen, and I kind of got in the got that scale down, and so I wrote up my own little chant. And then I played a lot of the instrumental medieval dances, and I didn't like any of them. I thought I'll just write my own, the fingerings I like to play, but in the right key. So I'm going to play on a Native American earth tone G flute, which is A 432, I believe. It's got a little moonstone in it, and it's a real pretty little instrument. It's made out of aromatic cedar. And I'll just go straight from the chant to the dance.
What? Nice sounding one, that one.
Yay.
Very nice indeed. All right. All right, it's Birdman's turn. And I will mute everybody. Boom.
Okay. This poem here, I'm gonna take you to the beach with this one. Santa Monica. We was out there, and when I shot the video, then I looked at the video. That's how I started writing it, from the video. And it's titled Waves. Looking out into the depth of the blue ocean, feeling the softness in the air as the cold chill blows off the water. Blue waves rush in toward the shore, listening, watching, dreaming, and enjoying the scene as the blue waves roll in. Peace, beauty, and solitude are felt as the waves put your mind in a trance. The fog that covers the mountains and the horizon makes the blue sky, mountains, and waves blend into one another. It is easy to become mesmerized by the view, allowing your mind to become free and clear. Gratitude can be felt for even a short time when you escape with the waves. Thank you.
Yeah, beach time. Yeah, we live a long way from a beach here in Austin, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Birdman's verses are short but vivid somehow, you know.
Yeah. And when you drive to, I mean, if any of us who lived on like a real ocean, like in the North Sea or the West Coast or the East Coast, you drive to the Gulf of Mexico and it's like, yeah, and it's warm. Like, what's wrong with that? Anyway, that's another whole story. All right, it's time for Ken, and I will mute everybody. Okay, Ken, whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, keeping up the breakneck pace here, I'm going to give a try at another one that's been in mothballs for quite a while, and this is the story of the terror of Australia, the wild colonial boy. There was a wild colonial boy, Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and bred in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. Maybe you ought to be live so you can do those turnarounds, Stuart. At the tender age of 16 years, he left his native home, and to Australia's sunny shores he was inclined to roam. He robbed the rich, he helped the poor, he shot James McAvoy. A terror to Australia was the wild colonial boy. Yeah, something like that. One morning on the prairie, as Jack he rode along, listening to the mockingbirds singing a cheerful song, out stepped a band of troopers, Kelly Davis and Fitzroy. They all set out to capture him, the wild colonial boy. Surrender now, Jack Duggan, for you see we're 3-1. Surrender in the Queen's high name, for you're a plundering son. Jack drew 2 pistols from his belt and proudly waved them high. I'll fight, but not surrender, said the wild colonial boy. He fired a shot at Kelly that laid him to the ground, and turning round to Davis, he received his fatal wound. A bullet pierced his proud young heart from the pistol of Fitzroy, and that's the way they captured him, the wild colonial boy. Once around for good measure, there was a wild colonial boy. Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and bred in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you, man.
And Australia thanks you too, and Ireland as well.
Yeah. And you remember that part was played by come on now.
John Wayne.
No. The lead singer, Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger played that
Jagger,
role
yeah.
in the movie.
Ed Kelly, yeah, the bad version.
The bad version, yeah. All right. I'm going to mute everybody because I believe it's my turn. All right. This is a song, this is a Christy Moore version of a traditional song called Sunny's Dream. It's a shorter version than some, which you'll be thankful for, because it's about this guy who has a really messed up relationship with his father and an equally messed up relationship with his mother. So we'll get it over with here. Sonny, don't go away. I'm here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor who never comes home. Nights are so long, silence goes on. I'm feeling so tired. I'm not all that strong. Sonny lives on a farm, on a wide open space. Take off your shoes and stay out of the race. Lay down your head by the soft riverbed. Sonny always remembers the words Mama said. Sonny, don't go away. I'm here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor who never comes home. Nights are so long, silence goes on. I'm feeling so tired and not all that strong. Sonny works the land, though he's barely a man. There's not much to do, but he does what he can. He sits by the window of his room on the stairs, watching the waves gently wash on the pier. Sonny, don't go away. I'm here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor, never comes home. Nights are so long, silence goes on. I'm feeling so tired, I'm not all that strong. Many years have passed on, Sonny's old and alone. His daddy's the sailor, never came home. Sometimes he wonders what his life might have been, but from the grave, Mama still haunts his dreams. Sonny, don't go away, I'm here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor, never came home. Nights are so long, silence goes on. I'm feeling so tired, I'm not all that strong. Sonny, don't go away.
That's a new one for me too.
It has no redeeming value whatsoever, other than being a sad song.
I've heard it. And who did you say recorded it?
That's Christy Moore. He adds this.
Oh, Christy.
He adds this last verse where he never did leave home, and now his mother haunts him from the grave. You know. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a real pretty song. It was in G, wasn't it? But the chords weren't where you'd think they would be.
Yes, GCD.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Right. Moving on here. We're going to Mike. It's Mike, and I will mute everybody. We're in the last hour, everyone. So
Okay. All right. So I'll go to trees, since that was a beautiful poem. And this one's called the bristlecone pine. And I don't know if it's a tree that grows and can live to be as old as 3,000 years old. So it's which is mind-boggling, and just as far as what's happened. But it's so that's what this song is about. Way up in the mountains on a high timber line, there's a twisted old tree called the bristlecone pine. The wind there is bitter, it cuts like a knife, and keeps that tree holding on for dear life. But hold on it does, standing its ground, standing as empires rise and fall down. When Jesus was gathering lambs to his fold, the tree was already 1,000 years old. And the way I have lived, there ain't no way to tell when I die if I'm going to heaven or hell. So when I'm laid to rest, it would suit me just fine to sleep at the feet of the bristlecone pine. And as I would slowly return to this earth, what little this body of mine might be worth is soon start to nourish the roots of that tree, and it would partake of the essence of me. And who knows what'll sprout as the centuries turn? Some small spark of me might continue to burn, as long as the sun does continue to shine down on the limbs of the bristlecone pine. Now the way I have lived, there ain't no way to tell when I die if I'm going to heaven or hell. So when I'm laid to rest, it would suit me just fine to sleep at the feet of the bristlecone pine. So I'd just as soon serve out eternity's time to sleep at the feet of the bristlecone pine. There we go.
Very nice. Was that one of yours, or?
Oh no, I wish. No, I don't write, but that's written by Hugh Prestwood.
Yeah.
And I got it from the singing of Brian Bowers, who's does a lot of folk stuff and is a really good what do you call it?
Dulcimer, hammered dulcimer.
Well, not the hammer, but just a regular.
The regular, the mountain dulcimer.
But yeah, he's from up this area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very
A
good.
beautiful song.
He is.
Yeah, didn't he record on like Flying Fish Records with?
He might have.
Yeah, unless I've got this all mixed up, some of these folks blur together, and they recorded a bunch of interesting people from different parts of the country.
All right, over to David. I'm going to mute everybody. Boom.
Here's one of my favorite poems by William Shakespeare. It's his sonnet number 73. And the tune I've set it to is a Norwegian tune called Heimoak Nikken. That time of year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. Their ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long.
David, that was inspiring. Thank you so much.
Is that a Sephardic tune?
No. That's a tune from Norway.
No, Norway, you said that.
It's a similar kind of minor key experience to my
Highly appropriate.
it's all that cold weather, I think is what it is.
Well, the Sephardim are from the Mediterranean.
Yeah, well, I figure some must have got up north.
They were the Jews that were expelled from Spain in
Yeah.
1992. And so they settled throughout the Mediterranean, North Africa, and the Levant, and all those places. And they spoke Ladino, which is
Yeah.
a sort of a version of Spanish.
Cool. All right. Thank you for that.
I was just remembering it's Brian Bowers is a virtuoso of the auto harp. I'd forgotten that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mary Jane. I'm gonna mute everybody.
Okay, yeah, I brought a gospel song along today. I hope nobody's offended. I don't think I've heard anybody sing one all year long that we've been doing this, but I do have a repertoire of gospel songs. So this is one of my favorites. It's called Drifting Too Far from the Shore, and it kind of seems like something that could have been addressed to the father of the young man in Stewart's song, the sailor on the sea. So you can think about that. And then it does mention Jesus, and Mike's song mentioned Jesus too. So anyway, I've always liked this one. Out on the perilous deep, where danger silently creep, and storms so violently sweep, you are driven overshadow the sky. Sure, death is hovering nigh. You are drifting too far from the shore. Drifting too far from the shore. You are drifting too far from the shore. Come to Jesus today. Let him show you the way. You are drifting too far from the shore. I meet a terrible fate. Mercies abundantly wait. Turn back before it's too late. You are drifting too far from the shore. Drifting too far from the shore. You are drifting too far from the shore. Come to Jesus today. Let him show you the way. You are drifting too far from the shore.
Great. I do some gospel stuff once in a while. You remember Sheep, Sheep, Don't You Know the Road? Were you around for that one?
That doesn't sound like a gospel.
It is a gospel song. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it
Well, yeah, they get into imagery, I guess.
That's a spiritual, actually.
We
what
need
else
to
is
save
there?
those for later when we're all in the same room and can sing harmony to them.
Yeah. I mean,
Such great harmonies to a lot of those great.
yeah, the beautiful thing about Victorian hymns is they structure themselves for harmony, and they all resolved.
Yeah.
Nearly all of them. In time for the amen, you know.
So fun. Yeah.
But yeah, it's lovely. All right, it is time for Tom. Tom,
I'm right here, baby. Right here.
We mute everybody. Give me a minute. Here we go.
Darling. Hey, today is the day for the International Day of Forests. Tomorrow, water. But there was a poet in Austin called Susan Bright, and she went to the city council and said, okay, Barton Springs, you want to save the water, but you don't understand. Water has an alchemical relationship with the trees. And unless you save the trees of Austin, there's no point saving the water. And this is dedicated to Susan Bright, who swam in Barton Springs until she became Barton Springs. Jesus walked upon the waters, yet long before him there were goddesses invoked, for water was life, not just the power to control. Water wars in Middle East still redefine all territories. Salty are the tears on the Sea of Galilee. Float upon the Dead Sea, seeking newfound scrolls. Water is an element that cannot be controlled. Religions come and preach and go. Only water flows, only water knows. Her secrets buried excavations of antiquities. Civilization came from oceans, rivers, lakes, and seas. Tigris and Euphrates was the Garden of Eden dream. Is it not the Nile gave Egypt fertilizing? Inundation in the fields relied upon today. Who will worship water upon whose largesse we stay? Water is the core of all blue blessing of our world. We dive into her oceans, we plunder her for pearls. We say we have the right to take, although she was never ours. The gift of water is a privilege given by natural powers. And cities come and cities go, and history still records the muddy boots of clay kings and lunatic emperors. Waters are so ancient we do not know their age. They were never written down, just rain upon our page. And we survive by whim of her. She who gave us birth is still the core of all creation here upon this one small earth. So I said, water, water. Water heard but did not move. I said, drink me, drink me. Water remained mute. I said, change, change. Water remained the same. I said, flow, go, glow. Water stayed. I could not command the tides, so I whipped them as a punishment. Water came and went in tides, immune to my amusements. I petitioned the one and only holy moon. I said, moon, June, spoon, croon. Moon looked down and owl astonishment. I said, fool, crone, hag, scimitar. Moon's one round eye stared blankly down. I called out invocations. I cried in exultation. I whipped exhilaration. Moon just slid on by. I asked Moon and Water to combine. Surely you can share your light. They both borrowed from the one sun. They both understood night. They were both chained to patterns of which I could never be wise. So I let Water go. Left the moon hung in light, and I became watery. I became tide, and I understood moon, and I understood flight, and I understood night. Thank you all. Elements, elements, that's my religion. Thank you very much.
Elements.
Gods and goddesses away with you.
That really flowed, Tom. I love it. I love it.
It
Oh,
was
no,
the element in the room.
That was very good, as usual. As usual.
kind.
All righty, it's Terry's turn. Terry's making it to the third hour. My God,
He had one just barely.
he must have had a power nap earlier in the day.
Notes.
Let me mute everybody. Here we go. Okay, all yours.
Okay, so next week, our friend Yanni Zamora of Cozumel is getting married in a Zoom ceremony, and she asked me to do a song, so I thought I'd do Paloma Azul. So this will give me a chance to practice before I have to really make it good. Paloma Azul, I don't know if it's, I think it's traditional, but it's very well known in Mexico and our part of the world here in Latin America and Texas. Qué bonita paloma azul, que con sus alas transita por donde quiera. Qué bonita paloma azul, no se lleva con cualquiera. Abre sus alas para el dueño de tu amor. Abre tus alas para el dueño de tu amor. Qué bonito cantan los higueras en la sierra. Pero más bonito cantan en el tiempo de primavera. Qué bonita paloma azul, no se lleva con cualquiera. Abre sus alas para el dueño de tu amor. Abre sus alas para el dueño de tu amor. Well, I'll have it perfect next week. Qué bonita paloma azul, que con sus alas transita por donde quiera, qué bonita paloma azul. No se lleva con cualquiera, abre sus alas para el dueño de tu amor. Abre sus alas para el dueño de tu amor.
Sweet
Yeah.
serenade in the afternoon.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, can you tell us what the song says?
Oh, it's real simple. It's oh, how beautiful is the blue dove, que bonita paloma. With her wings, she flies around wherever she wants to. Que bonita. How beautiful is the blue dove? No, see, she doesn't get along with just anybody. Open your wings for the owner of your love. And how beautiful they sing the jilgueras, some kind of birds. What are jilgueras? I'll have to look it up. The jilgueras in the Sierra, on the plains, in the mountains. But they sing even more beautifully in springtime. So that's it.
That's a lovely song. Yeah.
Sure is.
There's a bunch of those, aren't there?
Yeah. Really drippy ones.
Yeah.
That's what I like about singing in Spanish. You can be as drippy as you
Yeah.
want.
That was very good. All right. Sandy, I think you're up next. I'm going to mute everybody.
Okay, well, I am a beach person like Birdman, and I have a couple of chapbooks of beach poems. So I was just looking through them. I also have a poem called 3 a.m. Poets, but it's in the other room. So I grabbed this, my second beach book, and I found a poem I like, and it has a song that I wrote to go with it. It's called A New Path. I love to be on the sea, beauty in every direction, light dancing on the water. Above the sky, below the sea, unknown paths stretch to eternity. Storms come and go, sometimes causing loss. Life will never be the same, whether we like it or not. We must go on charting unknown seas. Adventure awaits as we travel a new path. And then the song is A New Path, and it's written for one hand. After I had my accident a few years ago. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to play it with one hand.
That was some rhythmic tonguing there.
Yeah, when my hand gets tired, I like to do the little one-handed songs.
I'm going to try that on the guitar.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to move up and down your thing.
Can't hear you, Stuart. I can't hear anybody.
Can you hear me?
Now I got it. Now I got it.
Okay.
So, now we can hear Stuart.
Anyway, as a whistle player, it's really hard to me to play 6 holes with 3 fingers, because those 3 fingers usually play the top 3 holes and the bottom 3 holes. So that,
My son is a fifer. He plays a 10-hole fife.
yeah.
You dropped out again, Stuart.
Yeah, it seems like your audio's going in and out.
Did you pay the Zoom bill this month? Are we done here? In fact, I think Mary Jane is the only one I'm hearing.
Really?
Can you hear me?
Who's Terry? Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I
Dave.
got Birdman.
Hi.
But sounds like Stuart's the only
Nobody wants
one
to
with the
listen to you.
problem. What are we going to do?
He'll have
Maybe
to
you could hold up place cards for who all's going to go next.
point to the square.
You can
But that
chat.
assumes everybody has the same screen.
But yeah, when you pointed that way, there wasn't anybody over there on my screen.
Oh, that's Mike for me.
Who's pointing?
That's me on your screen. Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
everybody's screen looks different, I think.
Okay, I got it. It's my turn.
Okay, Birdman.
Uh,
Excellent plan.
We have to mute ourselves, I guess.
We
Okay.
can do that.
Okay, this is a poem I wrote. Fortunately, we go to the beach every other Friday or Saturday, or when the weather is good. And I take a lot of pictures, shoot a lot of videos. So I do a lot of my, I get a lot of my poems from the videos. And this one here is titled Bird in the Sky. Whenever I go to the mountains for a hike or to the beach for a walk in the sand, birds are the first thing I notice. Looking up at the sky, seeing their wings outstretched, imagining the joy they must feel soaring in the open air. The experience of feeling free must be peaceful. Birds are free to fly with no limitations, able to go where humans only hope to go. They sit on a lamppost, balance on tree limbs, or sway back and forth on a slippery wire, viewing the world from up above. They can float on the ocean like a buoy being tossed about, or drift with the waves at the break of dawn or at sunset. I want to soar up among the blue skies and clouds, living like a bird that is free to go where and whenever it chooses as the sun shines on its feathers. I want to scale the clouds above the sea while perching on a dream soaring up high, then resting on heaven's gate. Thank you.
Can you hear us, Stuart? Can you hear okay? You can hear, you just can't talk. You're on permanent mute. Okay. This is it's another fast one. I'm only doing fast ones today. try to keep the pacing balanced. This is a story of that chronicles a decade in the life of a Paddy, and now I always thought it had a lilting chorus, which is Irish scat. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie. A while back, someone informed me that that's not a lilting chorus. What it is it's a corruption of Irish. And in Irish, it means, I'll return when it's time to rise up, which maybe they were pulling my leg. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But it makes for a good anecdote, I think. So, another good drinking song. In 1841, I put me corduroy breeches on, to work upon the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railway. Skiddy-di-di-di-di-di. In 1842, I left the old world for the new. Bad cess to the luck that brought me through to work upon the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railway. Skiddy-di-di-di-di-di. In 1843, that's when I met sweet Molly McGee, an elegant wife she's been to me while working on the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railway. Skiddy-di-di-di-di-di. In 1844, I traveled the land from shore to shore, traveled the land from shore to work upon the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railways. In 1845, Paddy was feeling more dead than alive. Paddy was feeling more dead than alive from working on the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railway. In 1846, I painted me back for carrying bricks. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railways. In 1847, Paddy was thinking of going to heaven. Paddy was thinking of going to heaven to work upon the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railways. In 1840, late to the tripping on my tongue. In 1848, I learned to take me whiskey straight. Finer drink you can't debate for working on the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railways. Now in 1849, the California hills are fine. Longer would I spend me time to work upon the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railways. Now it's Paddy do this and Paddy do that, without a stocking nor cravat. Nothing but an old straw hat for working on the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railway. Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, Filamiori Irie, to work upon the railway. Well, that was a struggle.
Yay!
And well, so Stuart made me the host in the middle of that, and for some reason or another, turned a bunch of the mutes back on. I don't know. That must be a Zoom feature I have not yet explored. So say something, Stuart. So
Hello.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay.
He's back.
There's a little time left, so I think I'm up next, and then Terry, you can hang in for 20 more minutes and we'll be done, or send it back to me, whatever.
I'll just send it back to you because I don't think I think I'm going to expire before 20 more minutes. As much as I love you all.
Okay. Why don't you send it back to me and I'll mute everybody then.
Okay, we'll do that. Where are you? I'm looking for you here, Ken. Marion Stewart. Yeah, okay. Not mute. Make host. See, I get a little dippy at this point. I get a little dippy before this point, but at this point I'm really.
All right, here we go. Mute all. Yay. All right. Can you hear me? Wave your hand if you can hear me. Yes, okay. All right, here's a Ewan MacColl song. It's about the traveling people in Ireland, those with no fixed abode. And I first heard this sung on a CD by Liam Clancy. To me, Liam Clancy is like the greatest front man of any band ever. He's trained as an actor, and he can really sell a song. He can really sell songs. Plus, he's got a great voice and character, or did have. I'm a freeborn man of the traveling people. Got no fixed abode with nomads, I am numbered. Country lanes and byways were always my ways. I never fancied being lumbered. Oh, we knew the wood and the resting places, and the small birds sang when winter days were over. Then we'd pack our load and be on the road. Those were good old times for a rover. There was open ground where a man could linger for a week or two, for time was not our master. Then away you jog with your horse and dog, nice and easy, no need to go faster. Now and then you'd meet up with fellow travelers, hear the news or else swap them family information. At the country fairs you'd be meeting there, oh, the people of the traveling nation. Now I've known life hard and I've known it easy, and I've cursed the life when winter days were dawning, but I've laughed and sung through the whole night long, seen the summer sunrise in the morning. All you freeborn men of the traveling people, every tinker, rolling stone and gypsy rover, winds of change are blowing, old ways are going. Your traveling days will soon be over.
That's great, Stuart. I'm going to make my departure here. Are you okay to wind things up or what?
Yes.
Okay.
I was messing with you. Yes, thank you, Terry. Thanks for the baton switch there. That was very, very smooth. from a production point of view.
Right. Well, you weren't here to see how unsmooth it was, but
Yeah.
it's okay. We'll see you later. Take care.
Hi, Terry.
All right. All right, moving right along. That means that's Mike must be next, I believe. So we got about 15 more minutes. We do up to about 3 minutes till, and then wherever we are in the circle, boom, we have the closing song. Because I'm in charge. So that's it. But seriously, I'm reminded when I was growing up, there was a BBC service for children's hour. So, are you sitting comfortably? Now we'll begin. That's kind of what I've been doing here. But okay, are we sitting comfortably? We're going to mute everybody and then we'll begin with Mike. Okay, Mike, turn yours on. You're up.
Okay. So rather than go too slow, I'll go lively Irish here as well. And as so many songs are about courting, this one is included. I kind of jokefully call it my Irish neener neener song, as you'll understand. But well, and then just as a quick note, it's called "The Maid of the Sweet Brown Now." A now is like a hill, so it's the Maid of the Brown Hill. But okay. Oh, come all ye lads and lasses, and listen to me a while. I'm going to sing a song for you, it'll cause you all to smile. It's all about a fair young lad, I'm going to tell you now, how he lately came a-courting of the Maid of the Sweet Brown Owl. Oh, said he, my pretty young thing, would you come along with me? We'll join our hands together, and it's married we will be. We'll join our hands with wedlock bands, you'll hear my plaintive vow, and I'll do my best endeavor for the Maid of the Sweet Brown Owl. Now this fair and fickle young thing, she knew not what to say. Her eyes did shine like diamonds bright, and merrily did play. She said, young man, your love subdue, for I'm not ready now, and I'll spend another season at the foot of the Sweet Brown Owl. Oh, said he, my pretty young thing, how can you answer so? Look down on yonder valley, where my crops do gently flow. Look down on yonder valley, where my horse and man and plough are at their daily labor for the Maid of the Sweet Brown Owl. Well, if they're at their daily labor, kind sir, it is not for me. I've heard of your behavior, I have indeed, said she. There is an inn where you call in, I've heard the people say, where you rap and you call and you pay for all and go home at the break of day. Well, if I rap and I call and I pay for all, the money it is me own. I'll never spend your fortune, for I hear that you have none. You thought you had me poor, heartbroken, speaking with me now. Well, I'll leave you where I found you, at the foot of the Sweet Brown Owl. Woo! There you go.
Very nice song. Very nice song. Hello, Tisha.
I'm gonna head out now too, but I enjoyed hearing everyone. I wanted to hear everyone their third turn. But
Great.
I'll see
Thanks,
you
Sandy.
guys in the week or so, whenever.
All righty.
Bye.
All
Bye,
right.
Sandy.
We're going to have a rare treat next. This is David Polachek playing a low whistle by the looks of it. The low whistle. It's a low
Yes,
whistle.
low D whistle, yes.
Excellent. So I'll mute everybody and we'll go from there.
Yes, this is one of my favorite Irish airs. As Stuart said, it's played on the low D whistle, and it's called "The Wounded Hussar."
I'm also familiar with that as Captain O'Kane.
Oh, a nice mournful one there. All right, Mary Jane. I think we got Mary Jane and Tom, and I'm afraid that's where we're going to have to cut it off. So, and then David will do the parting glass. So, Mary Jane, I can mute everybody. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry, do it again. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go into bluegrass mode now, except I'm kind of a slow bluegrass player. I'm not particularly revered in bluegrass circles, but this one's called Rocky Top. It's kind of a somewhat of a joyful song until you get to the last verse. Anyway, it's kind of an interesting song. Wish that I was on old Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bills. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, half bear, the other half cat. Wild as a mink, but sweet as soda pop, I still dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Corn don't grow at all on Rocky Top, dirt's too rocky by far. That's why all the folks on Rocky Top get their corn from a jar. Once two strangers climbed on Rocky Top looking for a moonshine still. Strangers ain't come down from Rocky Top, reckon they never will. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. I've had years of cramped up city life, trapped like a duck in a pen. All I know is it's a pity life can't be simple again. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Go.
Yay!
Come on. Good one. Tom, it's all yours. So you're ready to go.
Need to unmute, Tom.
Can't hear you, Tom.
I want to relearn the languages of elements, respect earth, air, fire, water, stone, and wood. I want to relearn the great mysteries, life, death, pain, and purpose. I want to honor ancestors, children, animals, and food. I want to relearn the true names of everything, leave behind all certainties, trust enough to risk mistake making, be daring and loving, adventurous and bold, literate in emotions and kind to all, absorb, emit new knowledge, and respect all your folk traditions, to actually allow equality between whales and dolphins, Israelis, Palestinians, Christians and Muslims, atheists and agnostics, and pagans and Wiccans, to listen to wolf, eagle, salamander, and bison, to love with strength and not weakness, to defend the broken and the young, create sanctuaries like this for free speech and free assembly with an effective Bill of Rights and Constitution. And this is just the beginning, for there cannot be real peace without justice. Prosperity needs to be universal, poverty and disease forever banished before we stack away the tools of war and beat our swords into plowshares again. We need to effectively honor and respect everyone, from terrorist to anarchist to corrupt politician. Each has a new role to play by example. Every one of us must change every part of us, and every one of us is waiting for that first step to begin. So we got to go out and love something. Start with a plant or a garden, move up to an animal, a pet who needs you, care for that creature with more than compassion, nurture the life force around you. If they live and live well, move on to human beings, enemies first, treat them gently, then strangers, finally acquaintances and friends. Intimacy comes from outside to within. Go out and share our caring. Give attention to everything. Everyone is waiting for you to see them as yourself. Thanks for listening.
Amen.
Very good one. Very good message to finish with, Tom. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. Apologies for the gremlins that we occasionally get in the Zoom world. We are going to finish. We're here every Saturday for, well, anyway, you look it up. It's on the list. My brain is mush. So with that, I'm going to turn over to David to lead us in a final song, The Parting Glass. I will mute everybody. Here we go.
Thank you, Stuart. Oh, all the money that e'er I spent it in good company. And all the harm that I ever did, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be with you all. Oh, if I had money enough to spend, and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town, who sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheek and ruby lip, I own she has my heart in thrall. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts I ever knew, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. I'll softly rise and I'll gently call, good night and joy be with you all. Happy to meet and sorry to part. Nice to see you all. Until next time.
Right. It was great. Thank you, everyone.
Farewell,
Yeah.
farewell.
Have a good week.
Hang in there.
Okay, see you, Birdman.
Yes.
Nice
Okay,
spending the afternoon with you.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
by the power,
Nice.
by the power of this button, I'm gonna shut it down. Hey, bye.
Bye.